Hey, can you see? Uh-oh. Stay with me. Stay with me. Oh no. Stay with me, car. Corvette C5, America. I'm about that life.
Find out more at Jared.
Stop! No, Jared, shut up. No copyright infringement today. So I definitely think this is gonna be a good day. When you have a Vortec V1 up front, you see service engine soon, which usually means the car is heavily modified, and you have a boost gauge and a fuel gauge, and a really badass auto. Let's do this. So it's 100 out right now. Palms are sweaty, knees weak, mom spaghetti. I know I suck. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Oh, Mustang. Oh man, I gotta hate that Mustang because I'm a Corvette driver. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a Chevrolet Corvette C5. The C5 is a pretty badass car. It is one of the most desired cars ever made here in America, and for good reason. For its time, it was kind of ahead of its time. It had a heads-up display to see, so you didn't have to look down when you were shifting, but this is an auto, so you don't have to worry about that. But it also had the mighty, mighty LS1. The LS1 is now one of the most legendary engines ever created by General Motors. You have an L, like Mr. Regular says in regular car reviews, if you have an LS, you win. You really do. It's small, it's compact, it makes power, and parts are cheap, and they're everywhere because we're in America. So I just want to add while I'm sitting at this light, listen to how sporadic the blinker is. This Corvette is special, and it's owned by my friend named Grant, who was kind enough to let me drive it today. And this Corvette is nicknamed the Trash Vet. Why is it nicknamed the Trash Vet? Well, let me tell you. It's gone through several transmissions, it's gone through several different modifications, and over time, Grant is notorious for making things work. So when something goes wrong, he makes it work. He goes and finds the part, he comes back to the car, he'll be on the side of the highway with all 4 tires off and be working on the car if it breaks. He's about that life. Uh-oh. Stay with me. Stay with me. Oh no. Stay with me, car. Yeah, buddy. Woo, that was close. That's a good Corvette. The C5 was not perfect though when it first came out. It had some issues, particularly in software and ECU stuff, so don't ever buy a first gen. That's what Grant was saying. Along with that, it had little minuscule things down the road, but every forum in the world has fixed every problem. So if you have an issue, you probably won't have an issue fixing that issue. This LS base motor is actually out of an Escalade. So it might be the LQ, so forgive me if I'm wrong. And it's always intriguing to me because a friend of mine named TJ, we went to a Sonic in the middle of Utah in his drift car, which had the same engine. But to the average Joe, you can never tell that it was a different LS because it's very much the same engine. Grant worked for an entire summer to save up for this transmission, and it's an RPM auto, which means it can handle the power. Still on the stock differential, so he's still in kind of a break-in period with this setup. It's a Vortec V1, and it's running a good amount of boost. The car makes 610 foot-pounds of torque and also about 595 wheel horsepower. So it doesn't mess around. It's got pure America power. Grant tells me as long as you're above 70 miles an hour, you can mat it. If you're under 70 miles an hour, don't do it. basically you either want to roll into it and the transition will figure out what it needs to do and it'll do its thing. And by doing its thing, I mean spin. I mean a lot. He was doing a U-turn earlier today when I was following him and it was already having traction issues. All right, first pull. This thing is fast. That did it like nothing. To this day, I might drive a Mustang, which all the VETTE viewers on this video are gonna hate. I still love Corvettes. I love them to death. Even if you do come across problems like a lifter going out or something along those lines, it's really not that big of a deal because you can fix it easily. But LSs, they're used in half of the drift cars at Formula Drift now. They're used everywhere. They're used for time attacks. Even the S2000 I drove last December had an LS in it, and it was bonkers. It's a good motor, makes great power, but I'm probably preaching to the crowd here. LSs are legends. Let's just end it at that. Brakes make the whole car shake. Also, the hood has these custom like aircraft vents in it. Grant just cut into the hood and was like, you know what? If I mess up, I mess up. Whatever, I'll get another hood off Craigslist. Who cares? Back in high school, I had an ex-girlfriend. Her parents got a C5 Corvette, and I remember driving it. And I remember it was an LS1, bone stock, nothing happening, you know. And I had a good time driving the car. But it didn't really impress me that much, to be honest. I was like, okay, it makes power, it makes torque, yeah. But you have to wake these cars up. And the best way to wake these cars up is a cam. There's gonna be the people online with VETTEs and Z28s, anything with an LS in it. You're gonna hear the term cam only, and it's not cam only, guys. Half the time it's heads, cam, intake, exhaust. That's like the holy grail of LS. It completely wakes up the car, and you'll go from like 300 wheel horsepower to 400 something wheel horsepower. But even on this, like, just ease into it. Hey, I can hear the bald eagles from here. Another thing about Corvettes is, seeing how far they've come. The C7 I drove last year, and I thought it was one of the best cars I've ever driven. The gearbox was perfect, the interior was miles ahead of this one. Guys, this interior's crap. I hate to say it, but for how much this car was back in the day, it's absolutely atrocious. C6 is the same way. They had a cobalt steering wheel in that car. Boo! Honestly, back then, the mindset was, I don't buy a Corvette for the interior. I buy it to go fast and scream bald eagles out of my pipes. Another thing too is you have to watch out with windows in C5s. They're notorious if you don't kind of do a trick where you go up then down. If you don't do that or something along those lines, if you hit a bump just right, the window will go off track and it's really hard to get it back on track. So that's another little issue with the C5. The front of the C5, I remember when it came out with its flip up headlights. I love how it goes from long in the front to short in the back. I've always loved that two-seater roadster kind of look. The front of it, I don't know about you guys, I'm on the fence about how it's aged. I really do think it's all about the angle. If you have a good angle on the C5, it is one of the most beautiful American cars ever made. It's, yeah. Yay. All right, so I see what he meant. It started to spin a little bit. It started to go a little crab walky. But other than that, it was controllable. When you are cruising around though, the transmission, right around like exactly, according to Grant, exactly at 48 miles an hour, sometimes the transmission has to figure out what to do. It has an overdrive in it, so it kind of has trouble figuring out if it wants to be in overdrive or it wants to be in power. So if you're doing the SpongeBob big toe going around town, it'll have a little bit of difficulty. But when you're all the way in it, it knows exactly what it wants to do. The blow-off valve is set to hit before red line, so sometimes you'll hear the purge and the whoosh a little early, so it kind of throws you off. Brakes are kind of shaky, so when I get on the brakes, occasionally the car wants to shake. So if I go on the brakes a little too hard, it doesn't like it that much. So I would just like to express how much cheaper these are as platforms now. You can get a good C5 if you're lucky from $15,000 to $20-something thousand. These cars used to be $50,000 to $60,000. I remember when they came out, I remember my dad, I pointed at a Corvette. My dad goes, those cars, son, they're a lot of money. You know, they're a lot of money for the average Joe. But they're really good for the middle-aged old man midlife crisis. The C5 is like the epitome if you don't modify it. If it's like an auto and tan interior, that's like the epitome of a midlife crisis car. So with the VETTE, the best way to describe how it feels is under 4,000 RPM, it's a V8. That's what it is. It feels like a V8, but once you hit 4,000, 5,000, that's when it feels like a V8 with a supercharger on it. Centrifugal superchargers are awesome if you want to daily drive a car and still have stupid power. Oh, say can you see? This car is so America that there's an American flag in the back of the hatch. That's how you know you're in business. Fastest I've gone in a very long time. All right, guys, I want to thank you all so much for watching this quick little review video. I hope you all had a fantastic time watching, because I had a fantastic time driving. Big thanks to Grant for letting me drive his Corvette, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a fantastic day.